What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. For all you politically aware subscribers of mine, I know you guys saw our ally, all right, Adam Mockler. All right, he's one of those fresh, young, light-skinned Americans who's out here fighting a good fight, doing that work. All right, Adam Mockler and his whole network is doing that work. All right, let me tell you something. Adam Mockler is woke. His whole network is woke. He is exactly what white supremacy was afraid of. Adam Mockler and that whole new crew, they are exactly what white supremacists were afraid of. White people becoming woke. Like my light-skinned brothers and sisters. Becoming woke. It's not us, because we've always been woke, right? But the pieces to the puzzle was, we need to get certain Europeans woke so that those Europeans who are woke and those African Americans who are woke and those POCs who are woke work together in wokeness to fight against white supremacy, imperialism, and authoritarianism. Now, you got this piece of crap Republican pundit goes on CNN, right, talking his trash, right? You see, this guy is a political pundit of the old days, back when people didn't have minds of their own and they just tuned into the tailored vision and listened to what any white man in a suit had to say. And because he was wearing a suit and he can put his eyebrows up like this and he has a vocabulary that's bigger than theirs, he must know what he's talking about, or he must be right. And so this old white geezer from analog days thinks he can come on CNN and justify the genocide that the right-wing Christian conservative Republicans and their handlers, Israel, are doing over there in Palestine, right? So he comes on TV and he talks to his audience as if they are stupid. And this is what all Republican pundits do on CNN, Fox, MSNBC. They talk to their subscribers as if they know that their subscribers or the people that watch them are so stupid that they can easily manipulate them with a bunch of word salad and bullshit. So when an upgraded European American, right, an upgraded, awoken, data-filled, and more morally guided woke American, young, youthful, upgraded, processing system, not analog, but we're talking about this dude is straight quantum physics, all right? You take quantum computing happening with Adam Mockler and his whole crew, all right? And so when you get one of those in front of one of those old analogs who think he can just 0101 his way into relevance, into tricking the people or convincing them that what the white supremacy is doing is correct. Now, the DNC does it too. The Democrats got the same, the liberals, and they got the same thing. They got their pundits that come on and they use these word salads because they went to college and they know a whole bunch of words that's longer than 5 letters. So because they use those big long letters, big long words and shit, and they use these large vocabularies to fool and trick those who didn't have the opportunity to go to Yale and Harvard and Duke and all these fancy colleges that most of these white people got legacied in, because they surely didn't earn it with their academics, since how 40% of goddamn these legacies are white people who are not smart. They get these degrees that say they're smart, but they're actually stupid and don't deserve the degree that they have. But they get given these jobs because their father or their mama, best friend, works for the corporation or owns the corporation. They got a guaranteed job. They had a guaranteed job when they were born. So now they got all this relevance, but they never earned none of that shit. But they get to come on TV and be the authority, right? But then you got people like Adam Mockler and his crew who research and study, and they have actual knowledge about what's actually happening on the ground. And you can't just talk a bunch of bullshit to them and they just supposed to eat it up like, okay, white man and an older white man, let me respect my elders. Yeah, you must be right. And what happened when Adam Mockler smacked this dude with nothing but the truth? Huh? Oh, dude got all flustered. And this is what happens when you fluster someone and their tactics don't work. On national live TV, he was like, get your fucking hands off me. Imagine. This dude has been keeping his coof, his professionalism. He's been keeping his frame this entire time because nobody challenged him correctly. Even the ones that's against him, because they're also Democratic shields, because they also go on the show so they can have somebody they can argue against. They never actually push back the way they should push back, and which is the problem with these damn liberals, is they know that conservative is saying some bullshit, but instead of challenging them, they just say their own bullshit for their own dumbass subscribers that don't got a vocabulary, and they just go back and forth, circle jerking each other with their different opposing views, and afterwards they go have coffee and afterwards and talk shit about how they just had a little joust on TV and how good did I do, how good did you do. Adam Mockler's not here to play games. When Adam Mockler takes him, goes to CNN, MSNBC, Fox, that dude is coming for war. He wants problems always, and he not playing around. Like, I respect that dude. That's a young cat, and he's very impressive because he's not intimidated by all of these people who think they're so important because they got legacied into the positions that they are in. The old ways don't work. Your analog don't work. Your sword is not working against this gun. Adam Mockler has a goddamn fusion bomb, and none of these bastards with their nuclear bomb can compete. And he got all mad. Can you believe it? This supposed regal white man in his suit who slick hair never fucking moves because he put mooses in that bitch. That shit is solid, right? All of a sudden, this professional, the guy who's making fun of Adam Mockler because he's young, as if that is something, there's something wrong with being young and intelligent, right? Well, even the other pundits kind of like insinuating there's this little amateur up here in the big leagues. Maybe you should calm down. No, all of you bitches need to move out the way because the Adam Mocklers and the people like him are on their way and they're going to take over. It's going to take a while, but they're taking over because they're telling the truth. They're speaking truth. How you going to argue with the truth? Adam Mockler asked the question, and there was plenty of daylight. There was plenty of daylight between him and the other guy. And how many times have we seen that same guy that close to anybody else having a passionate argument, right, where he thought he was winning or he wasn't getting his ass whooped as much because the guy was carrying him along for the show, for entertainment purposes, or because he buddies and shit. But when you get Adam Mockler on there, that's not here to lay down. He's not here to take a dive. He's here to seek and destroy ignorance with his data and knowledge about what's really happening in the world. And when he did that, and when that white man on national TV in front of multiples of millions of dollars got verbally destroyed and could not answer the question, he reverted to his savage, barbaric Neanderthal ways, and he wanted to get all rough and fluff. I bet you young Adam Mockler would have whooped his motherfucking ass because that motherfucker ain't small. Adam Mockler, he is not a small cat. Look at him. All right, don't. I bet you that young whippersnapper would have snapped that old geezer's. I'm telling you, he didn't want that real smoke for real, for real. He didn't want that smoke. That was all for show because he was frustrated because he couldn't answer the question. Very simple question. Why don't you know this? You're supposed to be a professional. Why don't you know this? Right? But anyway, without further ado, I'm going to show you what happened with Adam Mockler and this infidel. All right, because that's what he's, an infidel. He's a loser. He's a man of the past. He's a legacy that we need to get rid of. He's the thing that we are destroying, getting canceled. That's what's happening. Anyway, you tell me what you think in the comment sections. Afro Think Tank, learn some, teach them. I'm out.
Name one political concession. Name one political concession. We all know that Scott Jennings is more than happy to defend a war with a country that starts with the letters IRA that we are currently failing, that is going to put us trillions and trillions of dollars more in debt. I was only a few years old while you were in the administration defending prior endless wars. Now this war is failing.
8 weeks is endless to you?
Okay, you said it was going to be 4 to 6 weeks.
You have the attention span of a gnat?
Homie, I debated you on TV 4 to 6 weeks ago, and you said we were weeks away from it. Now you're making condescending remarks because you can't defend the fact that this war is not going your way. Wait, one more time.
Name
one political concession. Name one political concession.
Honestly, I'm not going to have this guy's
Everybody, hang tight.
Honestly.
Okay. No, everybody, calm down. Okay. We're having a debate. You can respond to the points that he's making.
Can you name a political concession that we've got?
Have Republicans not learned their lesson about embarrassing themselves on live TV while trying to debate Adam Mockler, a progressive commentator who left this conservative bonehead absolutely speechless? Take a look at this.
But the reality is these gas and oil spikes have completely ruined a lot of companies. I mean, bankruptcies overall, you want to talk about Spirit in particular, bankruptcies overall among large corporations are at the highest point in 15 years.
So let me finish. They had a spike over 2 months in
farm bankruptcies are at the highest point. I mean, they've gone up 46% since Donald Trump took office. Is that because of Biden too? Are the farm bankruptcies up 46% because of Biden too?
There was a lot of fertilizer issues around farms, but I'm not going to get into the spikes
because of tariffs. No, I mean, this is it. We're talking about bankruptcies.
We had massive inflation under Biden, and we didn't have bankruptcies there.
The massive inflation under Biden was definitely embedded into the economy, to Noah's point, but it went down. When we're looking at the trends, Donald Trump was handed an economy with 2.9% inflation and spiked it on Liberation
Biden was
Day.
handed an economy with 2.4%.
Yeah, but there's a difference between shooting yourself in the foot like Trump did versus having extrinsic factors.
He didn't shoot himself in the foot.
Okay, what do you call Liberation Day? What do you call the Iran war? What do you call the fact that he could have just been steady-handed and had a better economy?
I mean, look, you don't understand. understand how inflation operates. Inflation is from printing money, okay? We don't need to get into whole economics.
Wait, who pays the tariff? Who pays the tariff?
Well, look, we can talk about
No,
we're not getting, I do understand tariffs much better than you do.
Who pays it?
So then who pays them?
Actually, it depends. China paid a lot of those tariffs. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, and
Okay,
the
it's not a
American
free
people
economy.
paid a lot of those. There are a tax on the American
But
consumer,
also,
and
okay,
you know
well,
that.
then corporate taxes shouldn't be there either.
Seems like he doesn't know about tariffs. You know about tariffs?
You absolutely love it. General Robert E. Lee looking ass over here tries to get Adam to be flustered by saying, oh, I know so much more about tariffs than you, then couldn't even answer who pays the tariffs because he knows if he answered, he wouldn't like the answer he has to give because the answer is Americans pay the tariffs. We have been paying higher prices for everything under Trump, and businesses are getting crushed, the economy is collapsing, and the war is making everything worse.
All right, Geraldo Rivera said I was being a dick to Scott Jennings, so Piers Morgan had both Geraldo and I on to talk this through and talk about the viral moment. Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you watch until the end. I will be on CNN Newsnight tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern, so check it out, and thank you.
Let me bring in Adam Mockler. Welcome to Uncensored, Adam. You've obviously hit the headlines in the last few days. For those who haven't seen it, I think it's up there with my Russell Brand clip as the two most memed and republished clips of the week. So let's take a look at your one. This is you with Scott Jennings at CNN.
I mean, honestly, they have been at war with us for 47 years.
We all know that Scott Jennings is more than happy to defend a war with a country that starts with the letters IRA that we are currently failing, that is going to put us trillions and trillions of dollars more in debt. I was only a few years old while you were in the administration defending prior endless wars. Now this war is failing.
8 weeks is endless to you?
Okay, you said it was going to be 4 to 6 weeks.
You have the attention span of a gnat?
Homie, I debated you on TV 4 to 6 weeks ago, and you said we were weeks away from it. Now you're making condescending remarks because you can't defend the fact that this war is not going your way. Wait, one more time.
Not going your way.
One political concession.
Name
one political concession.
Whoa,
Honestly,
guys,
I'm not
excuse me.
going to
Hold
have
on.
this guy's
Everybody,
in my face.
everybody, hang tight.
Honestly.
Okay. No, everybody, calm down. Okay.
Now, as somebody who was repeatedly actually manhandled by Russell Brand, I think your manhandling was at least a little bit removed. There was daylight between your arms and Scott Jennings. But what was interesting about the exchange to me was not that he was not entitled to get annoyed with the way you were gesticulating. I probably would have done too. But I've not seen him that rattled. Scott Jennings is normally ice cool on that panel show. I watch it a lot. I think he's a really interesting commentator for the right on CNN. It's an unusual beast. They don't have many of them. And he holds his own often against 3 or 4 people. And on this occasion, Geraldo was also on the panel, I noted. And we'll come to Geraldo for his view of it in a minute. But I haven't seen Scott Jennings react like that to anybody. And that, to me, in the same way that I'm seeing with Donald Trump's slightly erratic and, quite angry and testy social media activity in the last few weeks, it just looks to me like people that have gone all in on this war in Iran, now it's not playing out in any way that they predicted or told everybody that it was going to play out. They're getting testy. They're getting quite angry about it, which is a natural human reaction, but is increasingly obvious. And I thought your exchange with Scott was indicative of that. What did you think?
I don't want to take away from the point that I was making in the question that I was asking in that moment, because I have sat on panel after panel after panel with Scott Jennings as he lies about this war, not bound by any facts whatsoever, as he makes failed predictions, not bound by any timelines whatsoever, and as he condescends and trolls and provokes everyone else on the panel. I mean, even in the same panel, he made fun of my bedtime like 5 minutes earlier. So this is a man that's not bound by any facts or timelines or rules. So I said, I'm not going to be bound by rules that my opponent is not playing it. So you can say that I was gesticulating a bit too much. That's a fair criticism, but he could have politely asked me to tone it down. That is not what he did. He snapped because he realized he does not have an answer to the simple question, name one political concession we've gotten from Iran 60 days into this war. We've had moving, shifting timelines, shifting objectives for this war. They've been lowering the threshold for what victory is considered as. And just because I asked the question of, hey, what concessions have we gotten, that pisses him off. We've seen billions of dollars spent. We saw dozens of people, thousands of people in Iran have died, tens of thousands, but we saw over a dozen U.S. soldiers die. So I'm going to continue to ask this very same question. I don't want to take away from the point that I was making and the question that I was asking in that moment, because I have sat on panel after panel after panel with Scott Jennings as he lies about this war, not bound by any facts whatsoever, as he makes failed predictions, not bound by any timelines whatsoever, and as he condescends and trolls and provokes everyone else on the panel. I mean, even in the same panel, he made fun of my bedtime like 5 minutes earlier. So this is a man that's not bound by any facts or timelines or rules. So I said, I'm not going to be bound by rules that my opponent is not playing it. So you can say that I was gesticulating a bit too much. That's a fair criticism, but he could have politely asked me to tone it down. That is not what he did. He snapped because he realized he does not have an answer to the simple question, name one political concession we've gotten from Iran 60 days into this war. We've had moving, shifting timelines, shifting objectives for this war. They've been lowering the threshold for what victory is considered as. And just because I asked the question of, hey, what concessions have we gotten, that pisses him off. We've seen billions of dollars spent. We saw dozens of people, thousands of people in Iran have died, tens of thousands, but we saw over a dozen U.S. soldiers die. So I'm going to continue to ask this very same question. What political concessions have we gotten from Iran 60 days into this war? The answer is absolutely none, and he knows.
I pray all of the billionaires who exploit the lower class fucking die. And they get licked down, put in the ground, dug up, and then fucking told to die again. Bitch ass fucks. Fuck is you talking about? Amen.
Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan!
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate? You should ask yourself, who taught you to hate being what God gave you?